Welcome, everybody. It's another exciting edition of the Sports Hole. I'm your host. With me, as always, XFL Jim, Rock and Roll Matty Goldberg.
What's going on?
Gentlemen.
I'm ready to shove some sports down my hole.
Yeah, I'll get it in your hole.
Oh,
all of them.
2 holes.
All your 3 holes.
A lot of sports going on.
Damn right.
Matty, you're upset.
Yeah, I said I wanted to vent about American soccer. I think we should just stop playing it as a nation. I just think we should just cut it.
That's not the American way.
We should watch it.
We don't give up.
I can't tell you how many years I've been alive that they're always like, this is it. This is the group. This is the generation, as they call it. This is the greatest American soccer generation. We're going to compete with the big boys. They stink. They've always stunk. Just stop it. Canada's past us. We stink. What an embarrassing thing. So, right now, you got 2 tournaments going at the same time. You got Euro Cup, which is fabulous to watch. I mean, even the bad countries are very good. And then you got American Copa, or Copa America, which is Argentina is obviously the best nation. Brazil's good. Mexico and America is taking a step back. But we're hosting this tournament, and then we got the World Cup in 2 years, and we got a pretty easy draw with 2 easy teams, Panama and Bolivia. We didn't make it to the next round. This is embarrassing. We were talking oh, we're gonna give Argentina a game. We're the 11th ranked. How are we the 11th ranked team in the world? We stink. They stink. I watched all 3 games. The first game was misleading because Bolivia is really bad, but they lost to Panama. Panama's not very good.
No, I mean, we had to go build their canal.
Uninspiring. You got to use the soccer words. Uninspiring.
Yeah, uninspired's a big one.
Creativity. Generation. Golden boot. But we suck. I will say Pulisic's the best player I've seen that's American so far. He could be the best. Donovan has a better career. I think Clint Dempsey's got a better career, but Pulisic should surpass him. But what a garbage dump situation that I don't know how to fix it.
Well, yeah, and just so anybody listening, if they're wondering, what does Matty Goldberg have to talk? Well, guess what? He was the best junior high soccer player in Woodstock, New York in the 90s.
No, 1st to 6th grade.
I'm sorry, 1st to 6th grade. That's even more competitive.
I was averaging 3-4 goals a game, homie.
Yeah.
That's why you're going,
Matty.
I
didn't grow. After 6th grade, I didn't grow, and it was over. When I went out for junior high soccer, I was like, oh my God, I'm the worst player by far. I suck. It's wild how just one summer your pubes grow and some people get stronger, other people get weaker.
Well, Matt, you got to haul around that big dick too. It can't be easy.
That's a
running
problem.
Up and down that field.
That is a problem. But I was I invested in these 3 games. I was so excited to see what they could do. I was excited for this tournament. I was excited to see if they actually play like Argentina and Brazil in a competitive game. It didn't even get that far. We're hosting this tournament. We didn't even make it to the next round. It's when are we just going to be yeah, we suck at soccer. Anytime we play decent, it's a good, but let's stop pretending we're going to win the World Cup or come close. We stink.
Yeah. No, it's disappointing. This was our time. The MLS is doing well.
Well, yeah, soccer is popular with Messi in the country. It's great, but still what we're developing. I think what happens is our mentality is so American sports, and soccer is a thinking man's game, and it's a cerebral game. I know that sounds corny as fuck, but so for instance, the first minute of the Panama game, our goalie got wrecked. A guy just ran into our goalie. And what we did is we retaliated by punching a player and getting a red card. So now we're
Fuck
playing
yeah.
one player down the whole game.
Bill
and that
Lambier
really
came
fucked
onto
us.
the field.
But when you see that, you're like, hey, they're baiting us. They're goading us. We don't know how to fake injuries. Like Americans never fake diving because we're learning sports like quarterbacks, you get drilled, you get up. Basketball, you get fouled hard, you get right up. I'm gonna come right back, but you get my point? Or does that make any sense?
Yeah.
The only thing I don't get is like we have good players, so I don't understand what's going on here because we have like multiple players on our starting lineup that play in like Bundesliga in Germany, play in the Premier League in England. Yeah. Like we have guys that are playing in legit leagues in Europe, like the top leagues in the world.
And a good coach does go far. So this coach, they're definitely getting fired. Like he had to go deep in this tournament. I'll be right back. I just got to.
I think one problem with this stuff too is like it's always all or nothing, right? Like you get a few games in this group play, and then you move on, and then it's like knockout, one game eliminations. And so maybe they're just not ready for the bright lights yet. Maybe they are good, but just not ready for that pressure. Whereas Brazil, like you're just expected to go out there and beat ass. Germany, same shit. Us, maybe not so much.
I'm interested to see how we look with a different coach. I'm wondering because he's been our coach for a while now. We've always had it feels like for the last, 7 years, it's been like, oh, we're good. And then now we never live up to expectations. At some point, it'd be better just to be like, oh, we suck. And then we exceed the expectations.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because you always think like 20 years ago or whatever, when US did decent in the World Cup, you think, okay, this is going to spring all these kids going and stuff. And maybe it's not really necessarily a talent thing as much as it is a coaching issue, though. I don't know, but I don't know soccer that well.
I don't either. And my feed has been dominated not by soccer, but by everybody and their mother posting about the EA College Football 25.
Really?
That's what my entire dude.
What are they talking about? What are they saying?
Well, so they released today. They released like their preview and whatnot for the dynasty mode where it's like build your own team, custom conferences, do all that stuff, like the recruiting and all that. Because the dynasty mode for NCAA, like 14, 11, 12, all those games is like the biggest selling point where you're the coach. You get to do all the recruiting. You got to like build up your team. And they released all that stuff today. And it looks really good. It looks super in depth. And I'm going to watch people play it. I'm going to try and hold my horses here a little bit. But I'm probably going to end up in like the next few months buying a PlayStation 5 just for this video game.
Wait, you get to go recruit the players and everything?
Yeah. For all these college football games, you have to go recruit players.
Is there a chance, like, can you suffer NCAA violations and stuff?
Yes. I mean, probably. You can look into their social media. You can like talk to the player, and each player has like specific things that they want out of a school, like brand recognition, proximity to home. There's like academic requirements for certain schools.
Okay. Yeah.
It's in depth.
That sounds very insanely cool.
So are we done with soccer?
Yeah, just like the US is done, we're done with soccer. I don't know what there is to say because, like, I mean, do you think it's a talent problem or just a coaching problem?
I think it's a combination. I just don't think. I think they try to hype us up better than we are. They rank us higher than we are. And I did think the officiating was absolutely terrible the whole tournament. I felt like a lot of the calls were against the United States. I know I sound like a crazy person, but there was a lot of controversy. But they stunk, and they did stink the last two games.
One word they always throw around too is chemistry.
Yes.
Soccer. And they're saying this team doesn't have none.
Well, according to Lexi Lawless, who I love, who's a Rat fan.
Oh, he doesn't give a shit.
He goes, the coach is out. He goes, he doesn't make it to the next round. You find a way. You don't, you're out. And he's right. And even his shitty team in 1994 in the World Cup found a way to get to the next round.
Yeah. I remember,
So
I don't know what year it was. Was it 2004 or 6? I remember going into bars
we
at like
went deep.
7 a.m. It would be a packed bar watching US play in World Cup, and they made it to the
I
knockout
think,
round.
yeah, one year in 2002, they made it to the final 8. That was the best.
Yeah.
And then 2006, they were terrible. 2010, they made it to the next round. 2014, they made it to the next round. 2018, they didn't make it. And then this time they made it to the next round.
Hmm.
But to not make it in Copa America, which is easier than the World Cup,
Sure.
is
Disgusting.
fucking embarrassing.
It's disgusting.
Yeah,
really.
it's funny, but just so you know, like how soccer is to the rest of the world. I have a buddy from Serbia, and of course,
Yeah.
the Serbs and Balkans just crushing it in basketball right now. And it's still all about soccer over there, even though like they
It
only
is.
have, like the Croatians, I think, have a big soccer player or two, but I don't think there's.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. So it's like, even though they don't excel at these sports, it's still like their favorite sport.
Yeah. Well, you know, they're small countries. Like when we played Uruguay, they said we have 34 million people or something, and Uruguay has our 3.4 million. Maybe we have more. Maybe we have 300,
Right.
and we have like 300 million people. Uruguay has 3.4 million.
Yeah.
So we're playing like, but you know, we love obviously football, basketball, baseball, hockey. It's still bigger than soccer.
Yeah.
But it's just annoying because they try to tell us like, hey man, we're gonna make a run for the World Cup. Like I wanted to see him play Messi. I wanted to see him play Brazil. And it's like, okay, you don't even get that. You couldn't even get to the next fucking round. You got 3 shots at net when you're fucking desperate yesterday.
Yeah.
3 shots at net when you're fucking desperate. What garbage. What are you laughing about, Jim?
We suck,
Wow.
man. It's just we suck.
Aren't you American?
I know it.
Dude,
I'm
we're
laughing
literally
with how
2 days
bad it
from
is.
4th of July and you're fucking laughing?
I'm laughing with how bad it is, Maddie.
Where's your fucking spirit?
Oh my
We
God,
stink.
Jim, I can't believe you.
Go watch the Canadian Football League, you traitor.
I will. I'll do it with a smile on my face.
Though.
Yeah.
I was really
Covered in maple syrup.
I was really looking forward to see him in the not like the elimination rounds. I was like, you know, it was part of my summer to get ready for football. I will say this. I mean, I am curious to watch Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks is such a good show. They started it today. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Did they?
No, I didn't.
It started today.
Who is it?
Yeah, it's New York Giants.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
Are they doing 2? Are they doing 2?
No, but they're doing the Giants. They might do an in season like they did with your Dolphins.
Yeah.
But the Giants, like, this is kind of like, it's a lot about the GM, the draft, getting guys ready for the season. So they'll probably do some stuff on the weirdo of Darren Waller, who just like retired out of nowhere. Do
we get to see the music video? Do we get to see the song again?
I mean, I saw a verse, and I'm like, it was what I expected. It wasn't actually Kendrick Lamar. It was very good.
He just went through a divorce. Okay, leave him alone.
Well, I mean, you got about 3 more years left before you can't do it. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do this, but you know, if you know yourself best, you don't want to play, you know, more power to you. But I'm curious to watch Hard Knocks for sure.
Yeah. All right. We had an NBA draft.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's like, what the hell? Because there's so many foreign players. So you don't quite
so many French people.
Yeah. 3 French people in the top
and you know
10.
What?
Look at all
There's
them
only
frogs.
one pick anybody cares about.
What's that, Matty?
There's only one pick people care about, Bronny. That's all.
Right.
That's all I know. I don't know any guy that got drafted. All I know is that Bronny James got drafted.
This is starting to mirror Kobe's last couple of years with LA.
Yeah, sure.
And I think Bron really does want to win, and he said he was willing to be flexible with his contract, but now because they didn't land anybody, he's probably going to ask for the max, which they'll give him. What is he
going to do with his son?
Well, he got him drafted. He'll probably be in the G League and be playing in Long Beach or wherever those guys play.
Yeah, he's probably going to be doing nothing because he won't be on like the actual team.
You know what this reminds me of? I have a good memory, and I was a little league umpire and I played Little League. Probably had an over 400 batting average. I don't mean to brag,
What didn't you do, Maddie?
I'm the GOAT. I'm the GOAT of
Maddie,
Little
the
League.
GOAT Goldberg.
Maddie, when I was in racquetball, my on-base percentage was over 90%. So
Wow,
suck
well, you're
my
taking
fucking
after
dick.
me.
I'm fast as shit.
But when I was an umpire, I'll say this. I can't tell you how many times there was a big game.
Wait, you
and
were an umpire?
Yeah.
What a fucking nerd. Everybody that
I
was
got
an
some stories.
umpire in Little League were fucking nerds. Holy shit.
I agree, but I'll tell you this. I can't tell you how many times me and the umpires, like it was my buddy, we were in high school. So we were like 18 or 19 when we were doing it. Great job. Easy job.
Sure.
Well, the parents could be assholes, but I can't
Yeah.
tell you how many times in a big game a parent would let their kid pitch who was obviously shouldn't have been pitching. That obviously there was a kid that was a much better pitcher. But because the love of their son, you're just like, what are you doing? But there's something about parents that their kid's the greatest, their kid needs to do this, their kid needs to do that. And I just think LeBron got a little carried away with this one. I mean, get it.
He was drafted what, like 500th or whatever, or
no, like 53rd,
50,
whatever. Basically,
like he's not good. Like I feel like it's a correct spot for the kid. Like when
no, it's not. The correct spot is he wouldn't get drafted.
Yeah, I mean, probably. He barely played. Okay, so
who
coming
cares
out of
about
high
like
school,
the 53rd pick?
He was a top 50 recruit, which may or may not been. And I'm also kind of with Jim. Like, who gives a shit? Because the second round, unless you're a great team like San Antonio, as far as evaluating talent, it really doesn't matter most of the time.
No,
Jokic,
it's just
of course,
a little
came from
weird
there,
because he's not deserving.
Well, it's also I kind of don't care because all these people get jobs. I mean, Giannis's brother is on the Bucks and stuff. Like, like Dame Lillard got his cousin on the Trailblazers, I believe.
It's a lot like one of my favorite scenes in Entourage is when Vinny Chase is, I can't believe I'm like using Entourage as an analogy.
You do it a lot.
It's one of your go-tos.
Oh,
when he was like, he was on the outs with Ari, and Ari was begging to keep him. And he's like, my brother needs an agent. And Ari goes into the office. He's like, we need to find this fucking loser a job. And it's like, hey, man, nepotism, whatever. Like, you got to take care of your family. And, Johnny Drama might not be deserving of that show he was on, Five Towns. But, hey, if his brother is Vinny Chase and you need to keep Vinny Chase happy, when I was messing around with Hollywood a lot, I would, look, there was a time I was trying to pitch our pilot.
Yes.
To a guy. I took him out. I wined him and dined him.
Yeah.
And all he was trying to do was pitch a pilot or a script for my sister to fix.
I know. How bizarre, right?
So it's like, that's kind of how the world works. And it's just like, he only met me because who my sister was. And, it's
yeah.
When somebody wants to help you, like when somebody in your family wants to take care of you, they just don't see like LeBron might think Bronny's deserving, but I don't know.
Listen, LeBron, I don't think he even knew his dad growing up, right?
Yeah.
So now, and the Lakers are not going to do well next season.
No.
I don't even know if they'll get to the play-in games. Who knows?
Sure.
I'll wait and see as far as JJ Redick goes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the season, when it's kind of like they quit caring, and then they call up the G Leaguers, and they're going to call up Bronny, and they're going to play together in a game. It's going to be a very magical moment.
It will be.
This is good. Again, LeBron, if you just think of the whole story, not knowing his father growing up, and then being able to make everything out of his life, and then bring his son into the fold with that too. It's going to be very magical.
Look, it's
but at least we'll have hopefully a nice story out of all this.
I'm sure when his son was very young, he probably was like, you know what? I'm going to play long enough that someday we're going to play on the same court together.
Yeah.
And that's like, I mean, I remember when Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. played, together, and that was the same story because Ken Griffey Jr. didn't deserve to be in the major leagues either. So, obviously a joke, but
Right.
but that was a magical moment. I can remember being very young. Like, no, I wasn't that young. I think Ken Griffey was like 88 or 89. He came into the MLB, and his dad was his last season or something, and they played together, and it was like a very tender, lovely moment that like very. I mean, how often does this happen? It's like a comet. So,
Yeah.
well,
No,
he
it's
thought he didn't deserve to get drafted.
Has it happened with football?
I don't think so because
Football
football
probably.
players,
Because the careers are so short, right?
yeah, like from what I heard, even with punters and kickers put into the average, I think the NFL average career is like 3.2 years.
well, football
Even with
too. Remember,
punters.
like you can't, Bronny's probably like 19. Like
Yeah.
football, you can't get to the league until you're at least 20 or 21. You got to be like
Yeah,
3
and
years
then
out of
like
high school.
the abuse you take. So the only way it can happen is like a punter would have to punt against his son on again another team.
When did
Or
Frank Gore retire?
a few years.
About 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, 2020. 2020 was his last time he was with the Jets. Damn, 4 years away. We get to play with
And
his
that's
son.
amazing.
Only
That is
4 years
incredible.
away.
And that's a
incredible.
running back too. That is really
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, I think if Brady would have started having kids earlier on, he could have done it. I mean,
If he would have had like a
obviously.
kid like right out of college or something, he would have done it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Born
Yeah.
in 2000.
I think his kids
he
are
would. I bet he
kinda-
would have stuck around for it. I bet he
I've
would
seen
have
his
stuck around.
kids, they're very skinny. You know, it's so sad. I'm watching in the background I got like Brazil versus somebody's about to start, and they have all these commercials with like Pulisic in them, like Copa America, and it's like you're out. Like this is a bomb. This is a bust, man. This is sad. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not good. Oh, does LeBron have he's got other kids too.
He's got
He's got one
younger
that's like
son.
17.
Yeah, I heard he's better than Bronny.
Oh, really?
Forget his name. He plays with my friend's
Bryce?
kid. Right. Yeah, he
What,
plays
at
with the
USC?
great Isaiah Elohim at Sierra Canyon.
Oh, Sierra. Yeah.
Isaiah Elohim was going to Arkansas, but
Right.
now he will be at USC, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, we should go watch some games.
I feel like my whole high school, it's like we're all like rooting for this kid.
Oh, you should. That's a really cool story.
I can't
It's
wait.
awesome.
Yeah.
What
But yeah, I didn't know many of the names in the draft. You know, there's like a few names. One of the craziest stories is our buddy. We have a buddy, a mutual friend, Josh Filipowski. Do you know that his cousin is? Do you know this? His cousin is Kyle Filipowski,
Yes.
and he got drafted by Utah. He plays at Duke.
Right. In the
And,
late second round, too. Like,
Yeah, and there's controversy because his wife or girlfriend is like some weird Mormon who has like taken him away from his family. It's one of
Yeah.
those deals.
Did you hear this
And
story, Jim? So she was like
No.
their family friend or slash babysitter. And then so she's like 10 years older than him too. And like essentially groomed this kid. So basically started seeing him when like he was not even done with high school and stuff. And she was like 25 or 28. No one's quite clear on these details.
Yeah.
But then people are calling it like Mormon grooming techniques, and I'm wondering what the fuck that even means. I
Well,
don't
she's
know.
hot. I wish she groomed me.
Yeah, right. Groom
But-
this.
I heard he dropped because of that. And one of the weirder stories,
I've
like
never heard of anything like that. You know.
I think this was the draft that like I don't think anybody was really like, oh my God, who's this? Who's that? I mean, the NFL is such a better production of like you can really the hype for the month before the
But,
draft.
okay,
is
the
so
problem
big.
though-
In
He-
relation to that, though, can we like not have the NBA draft go on for 2 days?
It doesn't need to be.
Well, it's a
It does- it
program,
does-
Jimbo. You
I'll
know
say
about
this. Well, here's the
theatrics.
difference too: is the NFL. You're not getting these fucking people from Paris. You know, you're getting
Yeah.
people from Oklahoma and
Sure.
Ohio State. You know, like
You're getting
these
these guys that
people.
we've been watching already
Yeah.
for the
We've
past
been
like
watching them
3
for 3, 4
years.
years. We know these people, and everything that hits on it. This, like, I mean, even the Pistons got an American guy. I have no idea who he is because he played in the G League, right? And
It's
like,
crazy.
so you between the G
Yeah.
League, Australian League, and all these other leagues, even Americans are skipping over college to go to. It's just
Yeah.
nuts.
Well, there was no discussion about the NBA draft, unfortunately. It's much more the NFL. Like, I know I'm well aware when it starts. I'm well aware of like who the controversy is, who's gonna drop, who it's who's where this quarterback is gonna go to that quarterback. The NBA, I felt like none of that this year.
Well, it's just, and the NBA changed a lot of their like collective bargaining rules too. So it's very confusing as to who can sign who in free agency as well.
Yeah.
But we have had a very active free agency. We've already had Paul George, the 76ers. We've had Klay Thompson to the Mavs, and a few others too that were notable. But I don't know, stuff that like adds to some teams that I'm not sure. I don't know if it's really going to put them over the top as far as I think
Klay
Boston's.
Thompson will help. I mean, it's like a big three.
Well, yeah, they needed that production. They got rid of Tim
Yeah.
Hardaway, who was one of their bigger guys all season, and then didn't use him at all in the playoffs. So they got rid of him, and now they got in a guy that can still shoot the rock. So hopefully he can actually help them. He's not, of course, what he used to be after he suffered all those terrible injuries, but he can still shoot the ball great, which is perfect when you have guys that can draw defenders in like Kyrie.
We got to remember
Luka.
Joel Embiid was hurt most of the year, and that hurt him in the playoffs. So Philly will be back, and with Paul George, that's a great pickup. Maxey, I love. I love his game. So I mean, they're going to be a threat.
What do you guys think about Chris Paul to the Spurs?
I think he's a little over the hill, unfortunately.
I think so too.
Well, it's good for them because it's I think they got him on like a veteran minimum kind of deal. So he'll be a good leadership for them. They're getting younger players too. So but San Antonio was trying to get some bigger veterans, but they weren't able to. Because they're really trying to win now. So
how long do you guys think Curry has left?
4 years left.
Well, he's quick and he can shoot, so I mean,
it's also how long do a lot of these guys want to hang on with smaller roles, like Steph Curry could play 20 minutes and be like a role player for like the last few years and hang on, or some guys go like, once I'm not that dude, I'm out.
So you think he plays till he's 40?
I can't answer because I don't know him.
Well, you said 3 to 4 years, Matty.
Well,
you said 3 to 4 years. You said 3 to 4 years.
Prime
you said 3 to 4 years, Matty.
Jimbo, calm down.
Wow.
He's got 2 more years in his prime. He's got 2 to 4 more years in like a role playing like like a 20-minute guy.
So you're saying he could play till he's 40?
Yeah.
Well, they like Golden State fucked up too. They got rid of Jordan Poole, who was a great shooter for them, and
we know why.
Decided to stick with Draymond Green, who just is a continuous like fuck up. You think you get better with age with that, but he gets worse. And now they're stuck in no man's land right now. They got to make some decisions too.
They've seen better days, but like all dynasties, which I think they are, all dynasties.
Well, they could still. I don't know if Curry has a no trade clause, but I would just eat it, trade him, start looking to the future. Because you're not going to win with this roster.
You got to start from complete scratch.
Yeah,
like you just got to burn it all down.
Oh yeah. And they should, because then they go through your shitty years now instead of being like a team that like just is missing the play-in game.
Yeah, it's a hell of a run, though. I'll tell you that,
because the West is loaded too. The West is
hell of a run.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. But right now, I feel like they're hanging since they couldn't keep Clay and they've made some other bad decisions, couldn't get anybody else. It's just like, okay, just move on with it while sell while the getting's still good.
Yeah. You want to be one step ahead.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. All right. Maddie, I got some good news for you.
Okay.
Kelly Stafford has apologized.
Oh,
Who does she apologize to?
to you.
Me.
Her husband and Georgia backup quarterback Joe Cox.
It was Joe Cox. I called that
Well,
on
she
whatever show.
apologized to him for getting him wrapped up in this. She didn't admit that it was him, but
There's only one other option, I think, but it's probably Joe.
yeah.
Well,
And then
his
she
name-
put out an Instagram post with her and her husband at the Chris Stapleton show at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
Said, realizing how many insecure men there are out there. So grateful I married the complete opposite.
So is that an apology?
Well, this was post apology. I think then she's just taking a dig because all these other men are
Then you
insecure.
just ruin your apology.
It's Kelly Stafford. That's what she does.
She does what the steel toe does. It's like when she gets critiqued, then it's like all these men are just like asshole pieces of shit. And it can't be you because you're so amazing. It's all these insecure men that just want to pick on her for being a woman. That's it. Because you're like so righteous and we're all just fucking idiots with our mongoloid dicks just waving it around to be a bunch of fucking assholes. That's it, Kelly.
Yeah.
You say dumb shit, deal with it. I have a lot of problem with a lot of men. I don't like Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is a dork douchebag who thinks he's so fucking cool. I fucking hate him. I'm not insecure. I just fucking hate him. A lot of people hate me. Go for it. I'm not for everybody. But hey, man, you say dumb shit, but of course it's like, you're just like keeping it real, Kelly. You're just a strong, independent woman who basically have to date the backup quarterback to make your fucking guy that you love insecure. Like, that's stable. Get fucked.
Matt Stafford should just pound out her best friend and be like, sorry, I was just making you jealous.
Yeah. Hey, two is fair, right?
Yeah, right. 1 for 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving the WNBA
now,
now, guys, by the way. So
Yeah.
like
I'm in now, yeah.
this happened like a week or two ago, like after the Kennedy Carter thing with
Sure.
Caitlin, but Angel Reese and like the team was like tweeting out like it's disgusting. We can't even get off our bus to the hotel room without paparazzi swarming us
Oh
and
my
asking.
God, that sucks.
And they showed the clip, right? And it's just one dude with a cell phone pointing it at Kennedy Carter going, did you reach out to Caitlin yet? And then it's just like, no, thank you. No questions. And then some security guy like gets up in the guy's face, but there was no like, it wasn't they were being swarmed. It was just some dude who happened to see them. Like,
yeah. Well,
they're
young.
This is great.
Dumb.
This is great
amazing.
because they are just pretending. They're being the heels and then pretending to be victims. It is the best move. I love that kind of behavior, though.
I just want them to go
have
full
to
heel.
get an Angel Reese jersey. She is.
I would imagine, you know what though? Like, I bet you a lot of these girls in like 10 years are gonna be like, I regret how I acted. We gotta remember they're like 22, they're 23, they're feeling very righteous, they're angry, they're pro athletes, but they have these like chips on their shoulder. And like I don't agree with how they're acting, but I think a lot of them will regret it in like 10 years and realize like you worked really hard to get where you need to get, but you're also very blessed to be in these positions and to be 23 and doing this, and even to have, people, wanting to get your information or, care about what you guys do is like cool.
Yeah,
but they're playing the hand that feeds them.
It's
sure.
working great though, because like now that everybody wanted to watch Caitlin Clark versus Diana Taurasi too, because Taurasi's been talking weird shit too.
Well, Diana was very nice to her. I saw a clip where she was like, "Hey, how are you doing? How's the?" I could tell it was a very kind, like, I'm gonna reach out and say,
Well, I don't think Taurasi's comments were even that bad to begin with.
No.
The ones that everybody kept citing.
But you know what? I will give him this. I've seen a lot of hits on Angel Reese. So like the league is physical. It's not just Caitlin Clark that's getting knocked around. And you know what? Maybe the men should go back to that because the men don't do that anymore. They just don't.
No.
They're very respectful. It's like
They're
Wemby comes in the league.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, we're gonna knock Wemby around. We're gonna treat that rookie. It's all like, oh, like he's a great talent and he's this and he's that. And Wemby seems like a very nice, respectful guy. But still, like back in the day, yeah, like a rookie comes in, you're gonna knock him around, you know?
Yeah. No.
So there's that.
The NBA, the WNBA is doing this right. They are really setting up great stories for all these people. The problem now is they just got to get some more eyes on other people than Caitlin Clark, where we really, outside of the Caitlin Clarkosphere. So we get,
And I think she's playing really well. Like her numbers are not Iowa, but like for a rookie to be like
she's setting like rookie records, like fastest to this many points, fastest to this many rebounds. Like.
By the way, Brazil just had a sick goal. They're a lot better than the United States in soccer.
Who are they playing?
Colombia.
Colombia.
Set piece. That's another soccer. A set piece.
Yeah. Gotta love that set piece.
Jimbo rolled his eyes.
I love soccer terminology.
Did you guys see the NFL got sued for $4.7 billion?
Is that from
I did.
TV?
It's not. It's like a class action thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So it's not from DirecTV. It's like from the fans, I think.
Good.
That basically said, we bought this DirecTV and then we're still getting blackout games or something like that.
The NFLs are a bunch of pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like the NFL conspired to like force people to get Sunday ticket.
Right.
Oh, they absolutely do. You know what's sad is like, so I had DirecTV for the ticket, and then we got rid of it because it's now on YouTube TV. And I do believe YouTube is doing a better job because you can watch 4 at a time. But like, it was so sad. They called my brother-in-law because we share like a package. We were paying like $150 a month. They were like begging us for like $30 a month to keep DirecTV. They were that desperate. They just lost so many subscribers.
Yeah. Did you stick with them for $30 a month?
No.
How long do you think the trial lasts?
For what?
For the NFL.
No, it's over. They lost.
I think
is it over?
Yeah, they lost.
Are they are they not gonna call it like a mistrial or anything?
No, I mean, I don't know. They're probably gonna appeal, but who knows?
I think
but the funny thing is, though, the fans are just gonna pay more anyways. You know, like they're gonna go, okay, well, how are we gonna get this money? Charge more. That's it.
Well, before you blame, I'm not a Godell guy, but like these are the owners, and these are what the owners do, and they know that like we put games on different platforms. People are gonna pay for it no matter what, and we don't give a fuck. We're gonna take your home games away, bring them to Europe, bring them to South America. Like they know they got the NFL fans by the balls, and it's just the fact. These games are too good. The fantasy is too good, so they kind of know that.
Yeah.
On the positive for it now, it looks like for the first time ever, actual businesses can actually have Sunday ticket too.
Yeah.
So
well, what they did last year is that
businesses were not allowed to have Sunday ticket before. Or?
I don't think so.
They had it through DirecTV.
I think it was priced differently for businesses.
Yeah, DirecTV kept like bars could use DirecTV, but we'll see about it this year, and I'm not sure. But I just had to go because I love the ticket, and you just kind of go to where it is now, and I feel bad for DirecTV. I don't have any alliance to them, but I felt bad.
Feeling bad for a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Love it.
Yeah.
I just felt
someone
bad for
you shouldn't feel bad for or feel bad for.
Oh, it wasn't even like they were doing that. They were actually just rigging the price of Sunday ticket. They were like artificially inflating it. Okay.
They're pieces of shit.
Yeah.
They will take as much from you as they possibly can. So if you have
and
access
more
to an illegal Fire Stick or something like that, consider using that and getting a little bit back for yourself.
I always love when
those
Goodell,
Fire Sticks are awesome.
When Goodell gets interviewed, they're always like, "What do you think of this?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do the research on that. We're gonna look into that." He's got it all down. He's
Yeah.
got all the things down.
It's totally like they just grab people from Washington, D.C. to help them with these dumb.
We're gonna look into that. We've discussed that. That's an interesting thing that we've looked into. That we're gonna do the research. That's all he ever fucking says.
Yeah. With Jamarcus Russell's back in the news.
Yeah.
Did you see this one?
buddy.
So he was he was volunteering as an assistant coach at Williamson High School in Mobile, Alabama, and he's like he went to somebody to get a donation for the school. This is to help kids buy, equipment and whatever else for the program. And apparently he just like cashed it and spent it himself. So now he got fired from being a volunteer and now is being sued for that $75,000.
Well, the money probably he needed more than the kids, so
You think so?
I'm
You think it's
for
all
it.
right?
It's a weird story. I mean, he's gonna have these Ryan Leaf type life where I hope he gets it together, but who knows? It took Ryan Leaf till he was like 50 to get it together.
Well, now he's on the air a lot, so there's always hope. But the
There
problem
is.
with Jamarcus Russell is he didn't know anything about the game either. He wouldn't
No, he
study
didn't
film.
care.
He just wanted to drink lean
Sizzurp.
and scissor,
Yeah.
fucking play video games or whatever he did.
I understand that feeling.
Yeah. All right. You guys ready to find out who killed WCW?
Yes, sir.
All right. Who killed WCW? Episode 3 out of 4. So we got one more. I've seen them all already.
Can I say something real? I
Yes,
wish we had music for this one. I'm just gonna say.
Why don't you sing it?
Who killed WCW?
On the dark side.
Part 4, 3.
You just want me to play
part
on the dark
3.
side anyways?
No. I mean, I get it.
Was that good
I get it.
enough?
That was good.
Okay. I think you did a good job there. I'll
Thank you for
accept.
backing me up. Thank you for backing me up.
Yeah. Always be your backing track, homie. Show picks up from last week's where Eric Bischoff was fired. And then the old TV exec Bill Bush hires Vince Russo, fresh off of his time in the WWE where he helped usher in the Attitude Era. It goes back into Vince's history as starting out as a writer for WWE magazine and pitching all these his own storylines. And then Vince McMahon's like, "You need to come work for me directly." And so Vince Russo brought all the TNA to WWE.
Bring that TNA.
And all the vulgarity. And guess where he brought it next? To the WCW. So the WCW starts becoming a little more risque. And
ratings, bro. I'm bringing in ratings, bro.
And then there's like that's what he kept bragging about. Then they cut to some like nerdy TV executives like, well, the ratings were up a little bit, but they were also making a less friendly advertising show. So we couldn't sell as much
He's
ad
such a
revenue.
douchebag. He came off so unlikable.
He really, I mean, ever since I've this guy has never been likable. I don't think he's...
What's funny is I don't mean to cut ahead, but he makes this quote. He said that he puts himself in the storylines because he's like, I'm more talented than 80% of the roster, bro. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're not more talented than 1%. You're a fucking idiot. You were horrible. I remember watching some of this shit and thinking how cringe. That word wasn't around back then, but it was cringe.
Yeah.
You putting the belt on yourself, you acting like you're the star, you're a nobody. You got lucky. You got lucky that Steve Austin, that The Rock, that Vince McMahon, that DX were developed.
Yeah, it's he basically struck lightning, once. And hit it perfect timing.
You know what it reminds me of? He came in like Sean, who's the coach of the Broncos? Sean
Payton.
Yeah, came in, was like, the last coach sucked, blah, blah, blah. And then you come in, you had a shitty fucking year. The team didn't improve at all. Like, if you're gonna say that, you better fucking turn it around. But you come in there all arrogant and make it worse, you look like a fucking fool. And that's what that's what he'll be remembered as.
Yeah, it's real funny too, because he's always around too, even though he shits on wrestling
Yeah,
nonstop and says he wants nothing to do with it. He's always like answering questions
I
on Twitter,
know.
and it's really
He
like, dude, just walk
he
away. No
he
one,
does this coping thing too. Like, I don't care about the business or the
yeah,
tradition. I'm in the ratings, bro. I get ratings, bro. It's like, no, you don't. You stink.
yeah.
And
So,
you embarrassed yourself so bad. It makes me think like, were you really the brains behind WWE blowing up again? I don't think so.
well, I will say this. No one has a nice word to say about him. Like, has anybody
Nobody.
said anything
I have
good?
heard every like bit I've heard on any wrestling anything that
Yeah,
discusses him is all negative.
Yeah.
right. Like he doesn't, it's one thing when you have Bret Hart going, he doesn't know about the business. He's
Yeah.
just some, Yahoo, whatever. And then you go, okay, that's Bret Hart being salty. He hates
Yeah.
everybody. Um, but then when everybody else is going, no, this guy is a dipshit. Um, and yeah, there were major stars that were popping up in the WWE, and I'm not sure how much he had to.
And I'll tell you one thing about the WCW. I always was a WWF guy. I grew up in the East Coast, but WCW had this tradition of wrestling. Like, it was traditional wrestling. There was
Yeah,
a pride in it. And when he came in there, he turned it into this bizarro freak show. And not only a bizarro freak show, a freak show where he was the star of it when he didn't deserve to be.
yeah. I mean, we'll get into some of his antics in a little
Yeah.
bit, but basically, shortly after he arrived, he was like a lot of the mid cards that wanted. I mean, I don't think this was I think this was almost a no-win situation though, because it's like the Golden State Warriors right now. You got these top guys that have been there forever, and they're making all the money, but it's not a winning formula right now. So
Hmm.
that's what kind of was going on at WCW at the time, where
Yeah.
you had all these aging stars, and they built their
Sure.
company. They built that version of the company around Hogan and Nash and Hall, who were great, but also kind of on the back end of their careers. So you had people like Benoit and Guerrero, Malenko, and Perry Saturn that all just sort of pieced out and went to
Yeah.
WWE. And that was a big deal because they were all great wrestlers, even though their characters hadn't evolved to what
No.
they would be yet. They were great wrestlers. And, as we all know, a couple of those guys became champs in WWE
Mm.
and hit the pinnacle. Um, yeah, so that was a big sign for everybody. Like, oh, this shit is going down. It's going south. They hire Bischoff back,
Yeah.
and Bischoff tried to work with Russo, but I don't know if there's any working with
No,
Russo.
he couldn't handle him. I think
So,
what it was like Bischoff was like, to him, it's good for his family to get a job. He gets a job, and then it's like you have less to do. It's just like oversee Vince and kind of make sure he doesn't completely fuck this up. But Vince Russo's too crazy. Like, watching him be interviewed, this is all 20 years ago, 25 years ago. You would just think you would have a little humility and be like, look, I thought I knew what I was doing and I didn't, and I regret a lot of the things I did, and treating a lot of these wrestlers that, rode in cars 7 hours to get paid $20 for their dream, and I cut them and I diminished their thing so I could have more time or whatever.
yeah,
Never is that. It's all ratings, bro. I'm in the ratings business, bro. It's just
Not the
like, you look
wrestling
like an
business, I'm in the
asshole.
ratings business.
well, he sets up a rivalry between the Millionaires Club and the New Blood. All the
Ugh.
young talent, and
Yeah.
that went nowhere. And I love this thing where they kept trying to pour blood on Kevin Nash, and it just
Yeah.
completely misses him, and it
Mhm.
looks so bad. He's like, Kevin Nash, like, you tell me what was the death, the finger point of death, or the that fucking blood that never hit me. Yeah. It was just,
Yeah, they had some embarrassing moments.
what was
for
the one
sure.
where they are locking, or they're cuffing those Italian guys and then pouring pasta all over them?
They kind of stole that from ECW because ECW had a team called the FBI, Full Blooded Italians. And
Right.
then they brought these Southern guys in to be part of it. And they were funny because they're like, we're Italian. We're going to get Domino's. And it was hysterical. And, you know, they would come to the ring and the whole crowd would go, you suck dick. And it
Yeah.
was funny. But, like, WCW couldn't capture that humor that ECW had. They just couldn't.
No, not at all. So that shit doesn't really take off. Then, basically, they're working to promote a movie. I think it was called Ready to Rumble with David
With David
Arquette
Arquette.
and
Yeah.
Scotty Khan, and
The great
Scott Khan,
Scott.
who you might remember from fighting Shifty Shell Shock, R.I.P., in a Hollywood street brawl, 25 years ago.
Entourage.
Yeah,
The movie, the Texas high school football movie,
Friday Night
Varsity
Lights.
Blues.
And NCIS Hawaii. Is that
I don't want your
or
life.
no, Hawaii 5-0, the remake, the reboot.
Jim, I don't want your life.
So while they're promoting, they get David Arquette involved in wrestling. And this was so bad, you may remember us covering the cage match of death with
Nick Cage.
David Arquette and Nick Gage.
I think this was his karma for being.
And that was him
WCW
trying to justify his existence in wrestling and try to
I think
prove, like,
so.
Yep.
he respects it and he did something
Yeah.
for it. So during this, David Arquette gets in some match where he ends up becoming the world heavyweight champion, and quickly realizes it's not cool because there's a lot of people that are working hard towards it. And you know, when Booker T is like, no, I've never been the champion, he's like, oh man, I need to get
But, like, you
belt
look
back.
at the guys in the past, like from Dusty Rhodes to Ric Flair, to Sting. So, like, you know, the WCW has a tradition of really good champs that are great wrestlers. So, like, when you give it to, like, an actor as a gag, even if you're trying to promote a movie, it's still fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But Vince Russo, I would do it again, bro. I would do everything I did again and then some more, bro.
My favorite part of that was, like, they blamed it on Tony Schiavone, like, fucking cheeseball commentator of WCW. God,
Sure.
Threw him under the bus, and Eric Bischoff's like, yeah, I went along with it, I participated in it, but so yeah, that was
with a little humility, I think, in this.
What's that?
I think Bischoff comes off with some humility in all of this.
I think so. I think he's
yeah.
I think he's I look at him as kind of a straight shooter. I mean, he's not pumping himself up that much.
No, and he tells he makes mistakes when he made mistakes, and he says, like, when he wants credit. But Russo to be this, like, brash, like, I don't regret one thing, bro. I'm more talented than all these losers in the back. Wrestling schmestling. I'm here for ratings, bro.
My favorite part about Russo, though, now is, like, he lives in Colorado and he's got a big Colorado Buffaloes flag behind him. And it's like, let me tell you about Deion Sanders. It makes no sense.
I grew up in the urban jungle of Long Island, and now I like to relax in Colorado with the skiing and shit. And I don't know.
Colorado Springs. No, Homacoors. Oh no. Yeah. Anyways, so that David Arquette, that was like Fonzie. That was, if there hadn't been a jump the shark moment yet for WCW, that was it. Very bad. And people were outraged. All the keyboard warriors were.
Yeah.
I like to show a silhouette of some guy, like, pounding Mountain Dew and typing in disparaging.
This is an outrage.
Yeah. So
I mean, it kind of was, though. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's like putting, like, Hulk Hogan in like in My Left Foot and instead of Daniel Day-Lewis or something.
Actually, it might have been believable because Hogan's such a retard that like
That could have been
my
the Macho Man playing Tom Hanks in Philadelphia.
That would have been
'Cause it would get
awesome.
give me that
ratings,
AIDS,
bro.
brother.
It would get ratings, bro. Ratings. You imagine the Macho Man as a gay man dying of AIDS in Philadelphia, bro?
Just you're in a bathhouse in Philly, and Macho Man comes in, bro. And
You're not
like,
saying no to that.
and he's like,
could
"Yo,
play-
where's the AIDS?"
You could play Booker T and any Denzel Washington part.
Yeah.
Ratings, bro.
Booker
Yeah.
T is Malcolm X.
Yeah.
This all leads up to
I love Booker T, though. I think
I
he's
do
great.
too.
Oh,
I
Booker
wish
T's awesome.
Booker
He's
T's
the best.
ascension was like he kind of started to ascend when I was kind of getting out of wrestling. Like I'm like, okay, my time back into wrestling is kind of coming to an end. But
Look, there's no better time when Vince drops the N bomb and he goes, "What did he just say?" I mean,
yeah. What's up, man?
he goes, "What's good in the hood?
What's good?
How you doing?" I love Vince McMahon. I'm sorry. I know he's a horrible human being, but I still love him.
You know, the character of Vince McMahon is great. Yeah.
Oh, it's the best.
But I think it's just him.
All the sex stuff too
I
is
still think
amazing.
it's a character.
Like when you see him, like when he'll do like a thing where a girl will like strip and he'll like pass out in the ring. I mean, he sells that more than anybody.
Yeah, that's like if you talk about an owner or writer getting involved, he's the only one who really has any business doing it.
Oh, he was fucking great.
Yeah, I mean, you saw like when he's like, they showed clips of him when he's yelling at Austin. He's like shirtless in jeans and he's like 55 and just ripped on roids. It's just fucking
I really believe, because they let Bret Hart go. It was almost a trade because Vince's character was created because of Bret Hart. And it was like the greatest trade that everybody thought was going to be the biggest disaster for the WWF.
All right. So we had the David Arquette thing go down. He gave the belt right back, but the damage had been done. And this was all leading up to the bash at the beach, where we've covered that before as the dark side of the ring. And Jeff Jarrett just drops and Hogan didn't know what was happening. And then Vince Russo comes out and passionately calls Hogan a big piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then he applauds himself for getting Booker T the belt. He's the first black champion, I guess. So
I'm gonna use another analogy in that. In the Dabbleverse, some of these scumbags getting fights with Stuttering John, and I think Stuttering John's one of the worst people. But when it's like Stevie Lou versus Stuttering John, I'm kind of team Stuttering John. So I'm kind of team Vince Russo against Hogan on this.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that. Yeah. I mean, given what we know about the creative forces in this thing.
Sure.
And how I think Jarrett was supposed to get the belt that night.
So gross.
Yeah. And then Hogan,
not
today, brother.
To not even let him win, like for real, like your guy, like Hogan is so insecure. He's got to like lose by just laying on his back. So it's not like a real loss.
Right.
So stupid.
Well, yeah, it's bad. Yeah, like Hogan, I don't know. I don't want to get into it.
He's very hated too.
Yeah, he's
the only guy that likes him is Brutus Beefcake.
Right. He made Brutus though. So yeah, that basically the show ends with sort of, then you just see more of Russo writing himself into the show, and it just gets worse looking and worse looking. So we got one more episode to go. I've already seen it. It's pretty good. Did you watch the last one yet, Maddie?
I watched the first 5 minutes, but I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, no, it's good. I can't wait to cover it. So that's been a good series so far. So it'll be fun to wrap up.
I didn't know how much I would like it, but I was like, this is great. I felt like Tales of the Territories is good, but I like more action and
more in depth.
The problem with Tales of the Territories, there's no visual documentation of these stories. So it's all like how
like
good of a
folklore.
storyteller. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this, you have like so like you see the blood not hit Kevin Nash, and you
Right.
see how stupid and humiliating. You see Vince Russo making a fool of himself, and then you see Vince Russo, you know, just doubling down and tripling down on his garbage. Ratings, bro.
Ratings, bro. That's what this show's about.
I'm not in the wrestling business. I'm in the ratings business, bro. What a dickhead.
That's why he never had another job. I mean, did he ever work another job after
Well,
this?
he goes on again. You're right. He goes on these podcasts. He'll talk wrestling, but I hate the wrestling
Let
business.
me tell you about wrestling, but I fucking hate wrestling, and you
And
guys
it's like,
are
you know
idiots.
For what you did and who you are and how you got there, you had a pretty good, easy fucking trip. Like most of these guys, like Steve Austin, like he spent 7, 8 years, driving in a car 7 hours for $15. These guys worked their ass off to get there. You got there pretty fast and pretty easy.
Yeah, that's what DDP was saying. He's like, well, we were there because we'd earned it.
He's right.
DDP looks great, by the way. He's like 68.
He does
That's
look
called
great.
yoga, bro. He's a chosen
DDP
one
yoga,
too.
bro.
You don't know that. He's a Jew.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Macho Man is too.
Really?
Oh yeah.
No, Macho Man's like Greek or something.
No,
isn't he?
he's Jewish.
What's his last name?
Pafo.
He's not like Italian. He's Italian.
Look it up. Jim will look it up right now.
I'm looking it up right now. I mean, his name was Randy Mario Poffo.
Yeah, he's Italian.
Yeah. Look it up, Jim.
Manny, I'm gonna send DDP to your house and put you through.
His
DDP.
mother was Jewish American.
Okay,
that makes him
Jewish.
a Jew.
So
He's
yeah,
a Jew,
half Jewish, Italian Jewish, because his father
Also
was
played
Italian
for
American, his mother was Jewish American.
Also played for the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
AA until his arm went out.
I wish they would have pushed that angle a little more.
Great wrestler. Elizabeth was hot.
Oh, she was hot. Yeah.
Remember George the Animal Steel?
I liked Elizabeth as long as she wasn't talking. When they try to make her talk, I'm like, this is.
Well, she wasn't saying much. She goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm so scared. I like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. Yeah.
Maddie, have you watched those Wrestle Me videos I sent you yet?
I will, I promise.
Worthless. You don't deserve to watch.
I watch a lot of shoot interviews, trust me.
I know you do, but these are just good because it's just like English people breaking it down.
I'm about to watch Jim Cornette, destroy Russo for an hour on a clip. It fucking shit stain. Fucking retard shit stain. Piece of shit. The boys in the back fucking hated him.
You do a good Cornette.
Yeah.
No respect for the business.
Maddie's like the Rich Little of our show here.
Listen, man, Jim Cornette fucking had to suffer at Dairy Queen because he couldn't get his cheeseburgers. Vince Russo never had to deal with that shit, trying to get fucking cheeseburgers at 1 o'clock.
Always there for him.
Because some fat cunt didn't understand his fucking order.
That's right. It's bad. All right, guys. Anything else to add today before we get out of here?
Two quick things. I did, after looking some stuff up while we were talking about it, I'm kind of interested now in the documentary You Cannot Kill David Arquette.
Oh, yeah.
Where he gets back into wrestling, like tried to in like the late 20 teens.
Well, I think that's just basically that Nick Cage episode.
No. He tried it again.
Oh, this was after.
This is like, I think it was after. It might have been during. I don't know. It just says follows his attempting to return to wrestling after his acting career stalls.
Okay.
So that's the plot of it. So
I think all
the
he
return
was
to
known
wrestling
for was the first Scream, which he was good in. It's a great movie, but that was his biggest movie. And then his sisters are big actors, Patricia and Rosanna. That song Rosanna is about his sister. Rosanna.
Yeah.
Da-da, da-da, da-da. That's really about it. For real.
Take you all the way.
And then before getting on the show, a hilarious article appeared on Twitter. Let me just read you guys the headline real quick.
Yeah.
And so this is the headline: Archie Manning, Ole Miss football legend, dad of Eli, Peyton, grandfather of Arch, is 75.
died?
Is 75.
He passed away?
No, he did not.
Okay.
And that's how the article was headlined.
That's great. Yeah. In memoriam. It's like when I put an acting reel together once, and each vignette I posted like the name of the project and the year, and it looked like a memoriam video as opposed to like an actor reel. So context is very important. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week for another exciting edition of the Sports Hole.
Love you, boys.
Photo.